And welcome to In-Game Chat for Saturday, April 21st, 2018. It's Season 12, Episode 15. I'm Scott.
I'm RJ.
And I'm Matt.
Welcome to the show. If you'd like to get in touch with us, our phone number is 334-272-9228. 334-272-9228. You can go to ingamechat.net for all the links to get in touch with us. And you can also find us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook at In-Game Chat. You can email us, everyone at ingamechat.net. We are streaming right now on Twitch, which you can find that link at our website. Or you can just go to twitch.tv in your browser and then type in In-Game Chat in the search bar. You'll find us. And then you can watch the show live while we broadcast. Join in the chat room with everyone as well. Oh, let me do this. Get this done here first. The old clap thing. So I can sync it up, which I don't think I actually need anymore. But RJ went to a lot of trouble to get this.
You don't think you need it anymore?
I think it's all synced up.
Well, yay. But still, it adds a little dramatic pause and clippity-clap.
I think it just gets in the way of the flow. So, yeah. Anyway, welcome to the show, everyone. We will be talking with Rand Miller coming up the second hour from Cyan Studios, Cyan Worlds. I'm not exactly sure if they're going by Worlds now or if they went back to just Cyan. Just singular. I don't know. Something we can ask him when he calls in. I think I always have that problem, actually. Because they launched their Abduction Kickstarter through Cyan. And then they launched their MYST 25th Anniversary Kickstarter through Cyan Worlds. So, yeah, we'll find out. I don't think it's that big of a deal, to be honest with you. But it is a big deal that we're having him on because I am a massive fan.
You may have played one or two of their games.
One or two.
Yeah.
I may have done a few of those. A little obscure.
Have you? You played all of them, correct?
I played all of them,
okay.
Yes. Yes.
See, I can't even say that about LucasArts games. There's some of them I haven't played.
Well, okay, so there's a couple of earlier ones that I probably did not play. Not necessarily in the MYST series. But they did one called Manhole, and then they did one, I can see the cover image in my head, but I'm forgetting the name all of a sudden. But yeah, anyway, some of those old ones that they did on Max, I have not played.
Okay.
But when they started with MYST, from there on out, I played them. I've got them, Cosmic Osmo, there's that one. I've got them all on Steam, but I have not played them.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyway, welcome to the show. Anyway, very excited to have him on. We've had him, the first time I had him on, I fanboyed out, and I think I was really embarrassing, to be honest with you. And then I actually
apparently not enough, because he decided to come back.
Yeah. Well, and then I got to actually meet the guy when I said, I'm coming out to PAX, and I know you're in Spokane, but then there's Seattle. Can I just hop on over? Turns out that's like a 4.5-hour drive, but I didn't care, so rented the car and took the drive. And got to visit the studio, which was it's one of those dream come true type situations.
Are they in Oxford?
No, they're in
Why was I thinking that?
Spokane, Washington.
I'm sorry. I am tired. It's been a long week.
Oxford.
I was thinking England, but no.
You're probably thinking of Criterion.
Yes.
You're thinking about,
which is the other studio that I have a love affair for. They're in Guilford.
Guilford, okay.
Yes, which is another studio. I honestly, as far as like my video game dreams are concerned, I have done them all. I have visited Criterion Studios. It wasn't during the heyday of, of Burnout. It was when they were trying to launch the Need for Speed franchise. But I visited their studios, talked with people who worked on that game that I'm so very fond of. I have visited Cyan and talked to Rand Miller again. Mm-hmm. A dream come true, something that years and years and years and years and years ago I never thought I would actually ever be doing. And a game that shaped me and how I play games and how I measure games in the same genre type of thing. The
It's like your baseline.
It really is, and it's how I if something says it's just like MYST, it raises an eyebrow. It doesn't say I'll buy into that. It raises an eyebrow to be like, okay.
You talk a big game here.
Yeah,
Let's
right.
see.
You want to throw that out? Okay. Let's see what you got. But, and then Naughty Dog, Amy Hennig. Being and not necessarily Naughty Dog themselves, although they've been fantastic to me with continuing to send me autographed copies of their games and stuff, which is just now it's just sort of a tradition. But
collectibles.
It is, but Amy more so that I again going through Soul Reaver, and then with Uncharted and having her giving me the commentary while I played the sequel. Which was fascinating, and everything that she's done for me. I have lived my dream as far as the video games are concerned, and I think it's wonderful. And
I broke into LucasArts' little presser once during my first E3.
Yeah,
back in '98.
Those are always fun
because they weren't part of the floor. This
right.
one was in Atlanta, right? Mm-hmm. And they weren't actually part of the main floor. They had their secret little room off to the side.
Yeah, I noticed you said broke into.
So. Yeah, because this is right before. No, 98 was all right. Now this is when they're still filming episode 1 and stuff. And so they had their little off to the side, closed door area for press only. Mm-hmm. And so I just walked in there, and the lady at the reception's looking at me. I'm like, look, I'm just really fan. I just want to take a quick look. And she's like, yeah, you need to leave here. I'm like, all right. She's like, here you go. And she gave me a little press, the CD, the little press CD. And I'm like, thank you. And I just quickly walked out. But, it was kind of neat.
I have so much.
That's the closest I got to, seeing my, people that I admire.
I have so many collectibles as far as, just to stay with the, with Rand and the MYST series. I have so much. Stuff that he just was like, here, you want this, you want this, you want this, and just I had to ship it all separately when I was leaving because I couldn't. I did not have room to put it on the plane, to pack it up and put it on the plane to come back home. So I had to ship that all separately back to myself, and it was fantastic. So anyway, we will be talking with him to talk about the 25th anniversary of MYST, the 25th anniversary MYST collection that they're working on for Kickstarter. I hit the MYST subreddit and threw it out saying, look, if you got questions, throw them here. So I've got a lot of those to ask as well. So who knows what we'll get into. Their new game that they've teased, Firmament. If he can talk about that, I'm going to ask him. I expect that we probably won't get much information out of him, but
yeah. Yes, we are making a game. Yes, that is the title. Next.
Exactly. I think that's what it'll be. But yeah. Anyway, as far as the games that I played, yes, God of War's released, but no, I have not played it. It is sitting in my house. I brought it home yesterday afternoon.
Did you get the Steelbook?
I went through, I got the big, statue edition that comes with the Steelbook, all that stuff.
How's the statue? Is it nice?
It is nice. It's still in, I pulled it out of the box, but then I put it back in the box because I haven't figured out where I'm going to put it yet.
Space is kind of limited in your place, isn't it? You got
as far as where I can put all these statues and stuff.
I mean, you got. I mean, I'm just going off of memory. The Nathan Drake statue, the knife there, something that
Batman.
The big Batman statue, and then you had that one huge one.
The glove.
You had a huge one.
That one I won from a Reddit contest, but it was a Batman arm thing holding a batarang.
Yeah.
Which I had the batarang from the first, Arkham game.
Yeah, I can tell you right now that is not a batarang compared to the one that comes with this little sculpture thing. It is.
It's
massive.
more than nothing.
Yeah.
And then what else have I got up there? I've got the Batman stuff and a lot of collectibles. We brought our collectibles in one time. Mm-hmm. I got movie collectibles hanging up there and all sorts of things. So yeah, I gotta find.
It's just a bunch
I got to find room.
Repurposing, refiguring, moving.
Really,
yeah,
exactly. Oh, I know that we play music going in and out of breaks here. I do have a theme going with this one, which is probably very easy to figure out what the theme is. But I do have a theme, with the exception of the two songs that'll play. The song that'll play us into the interview with Rand, and the song that'll play us out of the interview with Rand.
Best battles are female.
Huh?
Boss battles are female. No,
Right, that was last week.
last
yeah,
week.
yeah. So anyway,
no one would have guessed.
I do have God of War. I put it in the machine. It downloaded, and then it downloaded the update, and then I downloaded all the stuff that comes with the game whenever you buy it in that special edition. And then I sat there, and man, controller in my hand, ready to go. And then I realized I hadn't gotten music for today's show.
Whoops.
This was around 7 p.m. And I said, well, let me put this down, and I'll go get the music. And so, I don't know, it was around 9 or 10 o'clock that I was like, okay, I think I'm satisfied with these selections.
Yeah.
And also not getting stuck in a internet hole, as I usually do when I get on the YouTube.
Yeah.
So,
Brock.
yeah, okay, we'll get to Brock in just a second. So anyway, the only thing that I played is I just a couple of little events. I think I completed 2 or 3 events in Burnout Paradise, and then I played a lot of Ghost Recon Wildlands. And by played a lot doesn't necessarily mean that I did much to progress. I just was in the game for a very long time. So
We need to get up time with you. That way, you're not just doing it by yourself.
I know. Yeah, I would. Like
I know that your schedule's weird. Our schedule's, everyone has weird schedules.
You guys play after 9 p.m.
Yeah.
I'm in bed at 9 p.m.
Or
before, yes, exactly. But usually what I've been doing lately is just come home, I get on there, I at least do one mission, because there's a lot. But I at least do one mission, and then I'm done. So I realized I was doing one where, you had to take these guys out of the compound or whatever. I just got a helicopter that had guns, hovered above them enough till they could show up on, till I could tag them. And then it was just like, shoot them.
Yeah.
And never once did my, there's a certain level of detectability, I guess, where you're being hunted or they think you're there or something like that. Never once was it engaged. Did it get engaged? It said I was hunted.
Yeah.
And if I stopped firing, they're like, I don't know where they're at, even though I'm hovering ever how high above them.
Wait till you get the one a helicopter with either rockets or
Yeah, I know. I can't wait for those.
or missiles.
Yeah, I can't wait for those.
I actually got in a battle crate. I got the Unidad one with the missiles.
Okay.
And I mean, I like flying that. James hates it. It's a hog. It's slow. It's whatever. But I got missiles on it.
But I realized I could just sit up there and just fire away and never really have to worry about anything. So yeah, I haven't done much. I'm still in the first little section. I have 2 missions left to go in it. Of course, I've discovered other parts of the island. Once you get a helicopter, man, you just go. Yeah, and that's what I'd been doing, was to just kind of explore the island and that sort of thing. So that's where I'm at with that one. And yes, we're gonna get Brock on in just a bit. But RJ, what have you played?
Well, I'm in the same boat with you in terms of buying something but not playing yet. I bought Yakuza 6.
I need to get that.
I figure when I get to the part where you play Virtua Fighter 5, that's probably where I'm going to stop playing Yakuza and start playing Virtua Fighter.
The special edition, when I was picking up my copy of God of War last night, I saw that was there, and it was in a box, obviously, but it wasn't any kind of big box. It was a lot like the special edition of Shadow of the Colossus, which is not any kind of statuesque thing. It's just a bigger box because it has the game and a couple other little tchotchkes inside of it. But
Yakuza?
Yeah.
The shot glasses, cooling stones, and an art book, I believe.
No steel book for that one?
I don't believe it's a steel book. I could be wrong, but in that big box, if it did have one, it'd be in that big box.
Well, by big box, I'm not talking anything like this. It was a game case, but it was just a thick game case. So I thought might have one, but anyway. So yeah, just Yakuza 6.
Well, in terms of buying something, but I haven't played it yet. Yakuza 6, I bought that. More rounds of Street Fighter 5, and I also played a bit of Riptide GP Renegade. That was on a PlayStation Store sale. Picked it up and played a little bit. Racing game, water bike racing game, something like that. Also played a little bit of Monster Hunter World. It's been a very long time since I've done so. I was stuck at the place where I was fighting the Diablo monster in story mode.
Yeah.
Finally took him out. But I'm noticing that a lot of the people that I play with, of course, because I haven't been playing much, I've been playing all types of other things. The levels that they're at compared to me, it's just there's a big distance between. They're like 120, 130, and I'm at I just got to 10. So a lot of things they want to get together with, I'm not qualified to go on them things yet.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of grinding And yeah, I don't see myself doing that anytime soon. Grinding anyway.
Matt, what about you?
Speaking of games we bought but didn't play, I got the Humble strategy bundle. So that had some strategy games in there, Tooth and Tail and Endless Space 1 and 2, Total War Empire, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, just pick up some strategy games from that. Other than that, just Ghost Recon with Kevin and Scott, and I mean not Scott. See how tired I am. Kevin, Jeremy, and James on occasion, and Kevin and I did some more Far Cry 5.
Okay.
So we finished out John Seed's territory, so now we're going north to Jacob, and just having some fun with that.
All right. Mm-hmm. Well, let's jump into the phones here
All right.
because he's calling all the way from Canada. Let's talk to Brock. Hey, Brock.
Good evening.
Good evening. How you doing, man?
Not too bad. How are you guys doing?
Doing all right. What's been going on? What's up?
Just been playing with the Nintendo Labo stuff.
Yeah.
I had that on pre-order from way back when it was first announced
Yep.
because I was unsure if it would be a hot item that you could not get after a while. And then as it got closer to the release, I was like, let me go ahead and cancel that order. So I took it off. And saw the boxes when I was picking up my God of War. I saw the boxes in the store.
Yeah, I saw your Twitter feed and saw that you did the fishing pole.
Yeah, we spent the afternoon today building the fishing rod.
How hard is it, like, for the origami-ish sort of, to build the stuff?
It's pretty. I want to say easy. I mean, I'm doing one of the fishing pole is probably one of the easier ones.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the piano, like they sort of estimate on the box how long it takes to do each thing, and I think the fishing pole is supposed to take between 60 and 90 minutes to sort of build.
Mm-hmm.
The piano is supposed to be the hardest, and it's like 3 hours or so to build that thing.
Wow.
So there's just lots of little fiddly bits. And great, and I was also doing it with my daughter, so we were taking our time. We weren't rushing through it. I could have possibly bashed it together a little faster myself, but we took our time and made sure we didn't bend anything and break anything. But it folds nicely. You got to put a little bit of muscle into the cardboard, but everything's nice and creased and easy to punch out. Like they did a really good job with just the production of the cardboard, which is crazy to say.
Did you get both versions or just one?
I got both versions, yeah.
Okay, I was wondering.
Yeah, I'm scared about seeing now, because I was thinking, this will be easy. I'll just slap everything together, no problem. And then after just putting together basically one and a half of them, I'm really worried about the robot suit, because it's going to have a lot more moving parts.
Yep.
But it looks pretty neat. It's really interesting. The fishing game is surprisingly deep for a simple little fishing game, and there's also a really neat part in the Nintendo Labo stuff where it sort of walks you through all the different features of parts of the system. Like it opens up the Joy-Con virtually and shows you what's inside them and how they work and stuff like that. So it's there's a whole little lecture series about IR cameras and the HD Rumble motors in them and stuff like that, which is kind of neat. So
Nintendo cardboard.
basically, well, yeah, that was the best part, was trying to explain to my wife why I spent so much money on cardboard.
Yeah, I bet so. I bet it was. Yeah, the closer it got, the more I honestly had forgotten it was coming out. And, I had done the pre-order just to preserve in the event that this was one of those, oh man, you're going to have to wait for second shipments of these things or whatever. And it never got to that point where it felt like that was going to happen.
It's what, $80 or so for?
It's $70 for one and $80 for another, I think. Is that right? Is it like a $10 difference?
I think they actually dropped the price. At least I got mine through Amazon, and both of them, they had dropped the prices a little bit. So I think it was, Canadian, it was about $80 for one and $90 for another. So, and they dropped them both to about $70 or $75. So
yeah.
After building one, how hard do you think it would be to get the plans and get your own cardboard and print it?
My understanding is that they want you to do that. Like they basically, it's the software. I mean, the software is what you're really paying for. The cardboard is just they've made it.
It's just cardboard. It's
given
a
the size of
pre-cut,
the box
right?
that Amazon sent me, I got lots to last me for a while. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I remember reading somewhere, hearing something that they kind of want people to be able to, like, do whatever you want after you've done it. Like, we'll provide you with the first batch, and if you want to make more later on, go nuts. But I mean, you'll have to have the software to make it work. So
Yeah.
I thought usually as the first batch is free, then they hook you.
So, yeah, I played a little bit of God of War. Just fired that up yesterday afternoon.
Oh, okay.
And the first hour of it's amazing, so I'm looking forward to seeing what the rest of it looks like.
Are you playing on a Pro or a regular?
Nope. My launch PS4.
Okay, so which probably means you're not looking at a 4K TV, are you?
Nope.
Yeah. Same. You're in the same boat I am.
Yeah.
Well,
no, but
no.
it looks lovely. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I'm sure it'll look even nicer on a 4K TV.
Right. Yeah. I'm
looks
still.
great.
Yeah. I'm still on a 1080 TV set,
Yep,
but I'm on
same
a
here.
I'm on a Pro. It's like I've stocked up on everything that'll give me 4K, with the exception of the TV.
Of the TV.
You're future-proof.
Yeah, but if I never get the TV, it's not going to matter. So.
Oh, you'll get the TV.
I mean, I will, but God, I'm honestly, I've been tired of waiting, and I get so close each year.
Do they do 4K TVs that are 3D?
They used to.
Or they stopped doing the 3D?
They've dropped off the 3D. The last one to have a 4K 3. Well, you know what? They may not have. There may still be.
Because you have enough 3D stuff, right?
I have a lot of 3D stuff, but I am
That's
not.
pretty pricey, though.
Yeah. See, I've got a 3D TV in the living room, so I'm not going to miss out on my 3D.
Okay.
But I've also got a 3D TV right now in the bedroom, and I've got ways to. Well, actually, you know what? I got rid of the ways to watch things in 3D because I realized I didn't need that DVD player anymore once I had a PS4 and an Xbox One sitting on the same shelf. So, and all of those had apps that I could run all the other apps that were running on this other thing, and yeah, so I actually got rid of that. So, and it's one of those situations where I think about, like, well, I'm going to lose the 3D, and then I have to ask myself, when was the last time you watched anything in 3D? It's a lot like you do when you're cleaning up the house after a while.
Yeah.
It's like, when was the last time I used this? Like, ooh, that's a great thing. Don't throw that away. Yeah, but when was the last time you used this?
Yeah.
So it's something I'm perfectly fine with parting with to jump into the 4K realm. I'm expecting 3D to have another resurgence once these Avatar movies get released. Just like he did last time whenever he released the Avatar movies in 3D, and it got a big push.
Yeah.
So I kind of figure it might have another big push. I doubt it, but yeah. So anything else? You played God of War. It's a beautiful game. How far did you get?
So far.
I
basically just finished the introduction, like basically the initial hour or
Okay.
chapter type thing. So
I'll be putting in time with that tonight.
Yeah.
This is one of the best things about having a single-player, non-connected game is that. So what I do when I go home is I edit all this video, and it has to process and render once you're done doing that, and that uses CPU on your PC.
Yeah.
So I really can't play anything on my PC because of that. Which means I could jump over on my PS4 and play some games or watch some movies or use anything online. Now, once it's done, then I have to upload it to YouTube. That takes about 4.5 or so hours. So I do that overnight while I'm sleeping because that hogs internet. Which means that even when I got done uploading it meant I couldn't get on Destiny or I couldn't get on God of War, or not God of War, but Ghost Recon or anything like that because of the online components of everything. But God of War, here it is, doesn't matter. It has no connection. It doesn't have, it's completely single player. So yeah, that'll be something I enjoy tonight.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy it a lot. I wasn't even going to pick it up. I totally kept myself in the dark about it. Had not really thought. I'm like, it's just going to be another God of War game, which I enjoyed the other ones, but I wasn't, I also knew there tend to be kind of short stuff like that. But then I started seeing all the reviews just raving about it. So
yeah,
it
got really good. Yeah, it did. It got really good reviews.
Yeah. If the rest of the game is anything like the first hour, then I think it'll be pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what we've got to look forward to as far as the rest of the month of May, other than State of Decay 2, maybe.
And it's okay. I've got Far Cry 5 to work on. I've got
Tuesday's BattleTech.
Oh yeah, I forgot about BattleTech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin and I have already we got it I preload it Monday, but we already have it. Got the key, and so I have it in my Steam library.
You know, I meant to say last week I played a little bit of Detective Pikachu.
How is that?
Weird.
I'd heard it's basically a lot of QTEs.
Right, and I think you
I
think you and I both love QTEs.
Yeah.
So, so far
it's also very odd.
Yeah, it's weird. Just weird all of a sudden. Number one, he gets a voice. Why? I mean,
and it's not Ryan Reynolds.
They expect that it's a voice. They expect, why he gets a voice, but why does he necessarily have to get a voice at all? And why does he specifically have to get that voice?
Isn't it like a British voice?
No.
Well, you know, it's not the Pikachu from the TV show. I'm assuming, right? Like it's a Pikachu, not the Pikachu.
Right. It is a Pikachu. It is not the Pikachu.
I think that's
There's more than one.
Apparently, there is.
Well, it's like you can catch a whole bunch of Rattatas. There's not just one. So
y'all are blowing my mind here.
Yeah. There's apparently not just one.
Okay.
And so this is not the God Pikachu.
that's why it's so hard to catch them all.
Yeah. But yeah. So it's just so it's just strange. And then he meets a boy who can only hear him speak, and that's strange. Why is he the only one? Which maybe these things are going to get explained as I play on, but I really haven't gotten very far.
Psychosis.
Yeah. Oh man,
it's all a fever dream.
When does Detroit come out?
That's coming soon, is it not?
Is that May?
Or is it next week?
Yeah, it's soon.
Yeah, because that's coming out in a bit, too.
May 25th?
That I will probably wait for.
Wow, May 25th. So the same day or around the same time.
Oh, it's still in their month. Okay.
May 25th, yeah. But it's around the same time as State of Decay 2, which I was excited about.
Oh, and along with Dark Souls Remastered.
Dark Souls Remastered, but didn't a Dark Souls get pushed? Didn't the Switch version of Dark Souls got pushed back?
Yeah, because the one I got listed here is for Windows, PS4, and the Xbox.
Yeah.
Do Demon Souls Remastered.
That would be nice.
Yep.
That would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Brock, we appreciate you calling as always, man.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Always. Feel free to call anytime you want to. We got to take a break here. So, I mean, if you had more to say, then you're more than welcome to wait.
No, I just hadn't called in a little bit. Figured I'd just...
I know. It's been too long. By the way, next week, and I didn't announce this, but next week on the show, we got Rand Miller this week. But wait, did I announce this already? Did I say?
I heard you talk about it, but it might have been before the show started.
I've only heard about Rand Miller.
Okay.
Yeah, it was before the show started.
It was before the show started then. I can never remember. This is why I don't like talking about the show before the show. Because I can't remember what I've said on air or off air.
Yeah, we already heard about this. Jeez.
Next week on the show, we're going to have Twisted Pixel back.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
That'll be nice.
So
what are they working on? I guess we'll find out.
They did a game called
Besides
Wilson's
VR
Heart,
stuff.
which was a VR game, and now they're doing another one that is a VR game, but it's very action oriented. Oh God, I can't. Why am I? All of a sudden, I have forgotten completely the name of the game. What is it called? Hang on, she gave me all this stuff. It's a Defector.
Oh,
okay.
You should look it up. There's about 20 or 30 minutes of gameplay from Defector on YouTube. Be careful who you pick because some people can't play to save their lives. So yeah, but it's it's like you're a spy person, and I don't know. You should go watch it.
I'll have a look.
Yeah,
I'll definitely have a look.
But thanks for calling in, man.
Hey man, no problem. Have a good one.
All right,
Take
take
care.
care.
Have a good one.
Bye bye.
See you later, guys.
And like I said, if you'd like to call in, 334-272-9228 is the number to do so.
Always fun to hear from Brock.
It is. I love when he calls. And we're going to take a break here. You'll hear our first song in this in the theme for this week. Like I said, it's not going to be a tough one for you to figure out. But as we go into break, when we come back, we'll hit up some of the news here that we can. We got Rand for like 30 minutes, but he's not really a guy who cares much about time, so he could go longer. I really don't know. So I'm just preparing for that if that's the case. But we'll be back with more of In-Game Chat after this. Music here from Odin Sphere.
Okay.
This is from PS2.
Mm-hmm.
And it's it's an Atlas game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's called The Hero's Triumphant Return. So we'll be back with more of In-Game Chat after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. This is music from God of War. It's called Witch of the Woods. It's, when they don't put a number or a subtitle or anything else, I have to say God of War, the new one, not the whatever, going back to the original one type of thing,
What was it, 1, 2, 3, some side story, then something else, and then...
Well, this is really the fourth. There's 1, 2, 3, and then there was a bunch of like handhelds. There's a couple of handhelds that were released, I think, for maybe PSP and maybe Vita as well.
Yeah, like side missions. That's what I mean, like side
missions.
Yeah.
Like that. So yeah, and then this one be the fourth one. So it just happened a few minutes ago, actually, right when we went into break. This comes from Kotaku that Valve has bought Campo Santo, the developers of Firewatch.
Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Right, exactly. Well, the article, independent studio Campo Santo has been acquired by a most unlikely of suitors, Valve, a digital store operator that once made video games.
Ouch.
3 people familiar with the news confirmed the purchase today. Valve plans to leave Campo Santo intact as a team rather than absorbing the studio and reassigning its employees to other projects. The independent developers are already enjoying Valve's perks. We've heard this past week. They got to attend Valve's annual retreat to Hawaii. The studio will also relocate to Seattle soon, which I don't know exactly where they're at. The statement that they gave was the 12 of us, there's only 12, the 12 of us at Campo Santo have agreed to join Valve, where we will maintain our jobs as video game developers and continue production on our current project in the Valley of Gods.
I wonder if they were in financial trouble.
I honestly don't think they were.
Okay, I mean, just the way you said, remain, keep our jobs.
I think that's the big surprise here is that nobody really knew they were in any kind of, they were up for sale or any kind of trouble or anything like that. I'm sure they'd been in discussion to, maybe find publishers or to whatever, and they're like,
Firewatch did pretty well.
Firewatch did fine.
Lots of accolades and recognition.
Yeah. So it was just kind of that's why the news was kind of surprising because it felt very out of left field.
Yes.
Whereas we weren't. It was something we weren't expecting. So anyway, got a few more minutes here. What do we have that I remember? Apparently, they dropped the single-player campaign from Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
So it's just going to be multiplayer only?
Sources who say Activision has canned Black Ops 4 single-player campaign. Supposedly, the project was behind schedule, and it became clear that they wouldn't be able to complete the story campaign by the game's release date of October the 12th. That's an early release date for a Call of Duty game, by the way. Most of these things get released in November, but October 12th. To compensate, Activision has shifted to focusing on multiplayer and cooperative modes, including the zombie mode. It is said that cooperative is somehow the main attraction, as if it's a replacement of sorts for a traditional campaign. There's another rumor that Call of Duty sources have revealed. Activision has tasked subsidiary Raven Software with developing a Battle Royale mode for the game. Here we go.
There we go.
Here comes the Battle Royales for everything. Yeah. Battlefield 5, there's a rumor for them having a Battle Royale mode as well in there.
It was zombies for a while, now it's Battle Royale.
Yeah, no, it is. Well, thank you, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds and Fortnite.
Speaking of zombies, in a way, the Battlefront 2 Ewok hunt. Have you heard about that?
Do you have to hunt Ewoks? Or are you an Ewok on a hunt?
Yes, and yes.
You hunt Ewoks?
Yes. So what it is, it's a new gameplay that they're doing for a limited time. I hope they make it permanent. You're a stormtrooper on
the hate is real, folks.
The fourth moon of Endor. Oh gosh, hate is real. Those terrible creatures, the Ewoks. They are horrid. I hate them. Anyways, so you're on the fourth moon of Endor, right? And it's at nighttime after the second Death Star blew up, and you're one of the stormtroopers left behind. And the Ewoks are actually hunting you, and you're just trying to survive until the Lambda shuttle comes and rescues you.
How much time
all you have is I'm not sure what the time limit is, a couple minutes, but all you have is your blaster, the E11, and the flashlight, which drains after time, so you have to turn it off to recharge it, and the Ewoks will just I saw some videos of it, and this guy was just like running through. It's dark and everything. All you see is like their flashlights, and you hear the call of the Ewoks with a little horn, and they're just like jumping down from out of nowhere, like spearing people and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, they do that.
If you get killed, then you turn into an Ewok and you hunt, until it's
tag. You're it now.
Yeah,
go
kind of.
somewhere else. Yeah.
It remind me a little bit of like the Friday the 13th. Only
the
instead
way,
of dying,
the way you were
just staying dead, you turn into
the way you described it sounded like a survival horror. Like you
the
weak flashlight. You're in the forest, so I'm thinking Slender already, trying to
and
avoid this enemy. Yeah.
Ewoks out, just jumping out of nowhere and killing you.
That was their main mode of attack, wasn't it? Death from above.
Death from rocks or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that they eat them. They eat the stormtroopers. That's what I'm going to go with. So, because they eat people.
Mm-hmm.
They do.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
That's why they're terrifying. But no, it looks amazing, and so it's kind of like the zombie. When zombie kills you, you turn into the zombie and hunt the rest of the team. Only it's Ewoks and stormtroopers.
Mm-hmm.
So you can play as an Ewok. Then?
Yes, you can play as an Ewok, and you run around with your little Ewok legs and terrifyingness and eat people.
I think Dead Space tried something like that a while back. You play as one of the necromorphs.
The necromorphs, and then
So in the part where you're hunting the Ewoks, does that mean that other players are the Ewoks that you're hunting?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's two teams. One team's the stormtrooper. The other team, has less people. It's the Ewoks.
Have you played as an Ewok yet?
I haven't yet.
Because I'm curious as to what it feels like is
Ewok survival horror. Yeah.
No. It feels like oh God, was it Left 4 Dead that lets you be the zombies in the multiplayer part? You could be, or
yes, I think it was.
Or was there another?
Yes, it did.
It's like we've been saying, a lot of games have been doing that type of thing, play as the enemy type thing. In
right,
the multiplayer
you
mode,
could play in the multiplayer, you could be one or the other. You could be
you could be
zombie,
a boomer,
team,
or
whatever.
you could be a,
Right, and so I'm curious as to when you pick the Ewok side, as to what advantages they have. Like you said, as a stormtrooper, I've got a flashlight, I got a blaster, and I guess you've got a directional HUD, or no?
No.
Okay.
I don't think you do.
I bet you probably see better at night. Don't have to rely on a flashlight. As Ewok, maybe.
The Ewok, I think, sees better.
Yeah, night vision type.
They have like the I forget the name of not the wisp, but they have these little like creatures that like swarms, that like attack people. You could throw spears at them, but
we got some Zerg Rush thing going or something.
In a weird way, yeah. It's like like fireflies or like in BioShock with your your bee hands or whatever, like a swarm like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's crazy. So.
Anything new for multiplayer, but
yeah, I'm glad they're doing stuff like that.
Yeah, but thinking about back to Call of Duty, I mean, for the most part, most people play it for the multiplayer aspect of the game, don't they? They don't really pay much attention to the campaign or story mode and things like that. That's not what they're playing it for.
Which is a shame because Modern Warfare was one. I like the story of it. The campaign was.
Look, there's some story games, there's some multiplayer games. Like for instance, Dead Space. I'm not playing for the multiplayer. I'm playing for the story, not the multiplayer. I didn't have any interest in that. So flip it, and that's what people feel like for Call of Duty.
Just keep that thought real quick. There's a technical issue downstairs that I need to run down to. Just keep going.
Keep going?
Yes.
All right.
And I'll be right back.
All right.
I'm actually
take this done before, because I can't do it whenever Rand calls in. So.
Yeah, well, have at it now, man. Yeah. Right, we'll see you. So, yeah.
I'm actually going to find some footage of this Ewok hunt and put it out there.
Yeah, okay.
It's our show now. Scott's like, I've made a huge mistake.
Yes, welcome to the Star Wars Hour.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so people are going...
Okay, so I'm just going to YouTube and selecting the very first one. I don't know. Haven't watched this video. I don't know if it's any good. But there, in the chat room, Ewok hunt. So, yeah.
Okay.
I can't wait to, I want to play it. I haven't played it yet. I've just seen some videos of it, and it looks actually kind of creepy.
Yeah, like I said, it sounds like survival horror.
Yeah, you're running through the woods.
Because Scott said
out of nowhere.
Like Scott said something about as a stormtrooper, you're hunting. It doesn't sound like you're trying to hunt anything. You're trying to survive.
You're trying to survive. Yeah,
you're just trying to survive.
You're trying to survive until the shuttle comes and picks you up.
So it's not about hunting anything. It's just about
you're the hunted.
Keeping them back. You're the hunted. Keep them backed off. Hold them at bay. Hold them at bay until help arrives.
Yeah.
So that'll be an interesting take. But like I said,
From my
Food up like he wants
understanding,
anyway.
it's just a short, like a limited time DLC in a way.
Mm-hmm.
From what I heard, I'm hoping it'll be more of a permanent one because, just different modes like this I think are good for Battlefront 2.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people play, that I've talked to that still play it are playing, the multiplayer and stuff like that. And like one of my coworkers is like, hey, we should get on, play some of the multiplayer stuff. I'm like, I bought the game for the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
I beat the campaign. I beat the, I guess, epilogue for the campaign. Maybe I should try the multiplayer. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's what. I guess a lot of companies are doing that because if you run out of things to do, just head on moving on something else. So I guess they try to put as many things in there to keep your interest as long as possible.
Yeah,
this is one of the things they do. Like we were saying with the battle royale mode. That's the hot new.
That's
the
it
hot ticket
thing.
right now.
Yeah.
That's the hot ticket right now. So yeah, they're going to try to put that in if they can. In any way
or they're spin upon, Battle Royale.
Yeah,
for a while it was, the fort defense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, tower defense stuff.
Yeah,
they even put that in like a...
That's what Fortnite was initially for, was it not? The tower defense?
So.
And then it turned into a cartoonier version of PUBG.
Mixed with a little bit of mine, fort defense, tower defense, Minecrafty, whatever. They're fun. I haven't played PUBG in a good while.
Yeah.
In fact, I kind of uninstalled it from the computer just to make room for other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched it on YouTube and Twitch and things like that, and it's some folks get real intense playing
really
that
animated.
thing. Yeah, there's rage videos of that game. All over the place. I mean, I can see why it's so intensive. I mean, you get that constant reminder that there are like 4 or 5 people left, and you're one of the 4 survivors left, and now people aren't as easy to find, and the area's big, and so
or when you're when you're down to
like
just you and one other person,
yeah,
or something silly, like small number, like
I think you mentioned it before. It was like this is I need these items, but is it a trap that this other person set, or is it safe to get? So while you're sitting there deciding whether or not to pick it up, your opponent's behind you and then shot you, and that's it, you lost.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of the other. I'm trying to think of any other games that do this. Hunting mode like you have in battle, like you have
like
in
the battle royale.
Like
the survival.
Thing. Yeah.
I think it was more of a older games that that was the mode where it's like you're the small group, you're getting outnumbered by the other people.
Mm-hmm.
If you die, you turn into the like the zombie rush mode in a way. You die, you turn into a zombie.
It's not quite the same, but I keep thinking of the mercenaries in the Resident Evil series. Survive for as long as you can.
Yeah. In a way, it is like that. Time survival until something extracts. That's why it kind of reminded me of the Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
How you're just trying to survive until the time limit until you could leave or escape.
Now you said the Battlefront gave you like 2 minutes.
It gave I think it's a little bit longer than 2 minutes. I forget how long it is.
Because I'm trying to remember if Resident Evil was a timed countdown or whatnot. I'm trying to remember. It was like 5.
I think it was 5 minutes. Survive for 5 minutes.
I keep on thinking 5 minutes for something. Was it survive for 5 minutes, or you're going to die in 5 minutes, or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Or extract.
Yeah. Because I never got through I think the one I had the worst time on was 4. I could not get through the mines. I couldn't survive the mines for more than 3 minutes playing mercenaries in Resident Evil 4 mode.
Same here. Well, I had no idea what we were talking about. Same here, but it totally.
No, just say ditto. We know exactly what you mean by that. Yeah, we're trying to see all these all the modes in there, like we were talking about earlier, how Battle Royale is the it thing, so everyone's trying to implement it as best way they can, or their version of it.
There was somebody did a fake thing, a fake image of like an E3
Photoshop.
leak. Yeah, it was like an E3 leak, and it was a bunch of logos for different games, but it was all Battle Royale mode.
Yeah.
It was like Yakuza 100.
Yakuza 100, the 100 Yakuza, yeah.
Yeah. There was another one where it was, oh God, what was it? It's like Half-Life 100.
Yeah, it was basically a big number of something, and it was all everybody. Yeah, the parody.
It was all battle royale type
Everybody
stuff.
trying to do a parody of battle royale stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see. The Last of Us 100.
Right, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yoshi's Murder Island.
Yoshi's Murder Island?
Well, because everything wants to be a battle royale thing
Yeah.
now,
Red Dead Royale.
right?
Oh,
Exactly.
that was that Twitter
Yeah.
image.
Destroy All Humans. PUBG 2. Half-Life 100. Yakuza 100. Halo 6. Combat Royale. Final Fantasy 11 Royale Edition.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's all
those
it's
things
yeah,
like that.
that's all it
Yeah.
turned into. And I hope it doesn't go that way.
My
It-
Little
look,
Pony
it-
Battle Royale.
It might be a reality. It might be a reality the way things
I
go.
don't think all of those will be, but I really do. Like I
No.
said, some of these
We're going to get more
um,
before it's over.
annual multiplayer titles like this, Call of Duty, Battlefield. I hope not Assassin's Creed, but
Oh,
Like
that
we
would-
said, they did that tower defense.
You say that, and I'm thinking that
Well,
would be the title that someone would
here's
try
the
that
thing:
on.
I can
Yeah.
see them do. Look, if they had not taken the year away and kind of let's get all our stuff together and do this over again. If they had not sort of stepped back away and they just kept doing the churning out the titles after title after title, I honestly see that they probably would have gone in that direction as well. Somebody put Forza Horizon 4 Battle Royale, which now makes me think of Burnout Battle Royale, which would be fantastic.
Yeah.
I'd be totally fine with that. Just basically, which would be Destruction Derby, is all that would be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, anyway, sorry for the interruption earlier, but
That was
all
necessary, but you got to
It's
handle
all
it, right?
taken care of,
Good deal.
or at least let me put it this way: it's off of my plate now. It's on somebody else's plate to take care of.
Shift the blame.
Well, somebody who has the time who can deal with it. That's what I'm taking. That's what I'm talking about. Did you look up the video of Ewoks? Do they have?
I put a video in there.
Okay.
I didn't watch it. I just went to YouTube, grabbed the first one of the Ewok hunt, and threw it in there.
Was just curious to see what they might have and what might be different for them. But yeah,
I know they have the spears. They have 3 different powers, to select. One of them was like the swarm, and
do you know what the player number is between the two?
not off the top of my head.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's all right. Anyway, we're going to go to break here. When we come back, we will be speaking. He is on the phone, right, Rand?
Yes.
Yeah. We'll talk with Rand Miller here coming up after this break, and which I'm always excited for because I haven't talked to him. 2016, I think, was the last time I spoke with him,
Wow.
and that was at PAX. So, yeah, out in Seattle.
Okay.
Was the last time I gave him. I had 2 action figures from the game MYST 3 Exile,
Yes.
and he was one of those action figures. And I'd talked to him before. I was like, "Do you have this in your?" Because I'd been to the studios and he showed me like all the stuff that they've got there, but I didn't
crazy
see
swag.
I didn't see one of his own action figure that is of him.
Yeah.
And so then when PAX came around and he was going to be there, I made sure to go by and give him that.
That's got to be kind of weird having your own action figure of your likeness.
Yeah.
Here's a thing of me, a little playable me.
The little posable you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can ask him how weird that is coming up. Here's music from, and I'm going to mispronounce this probably, Jotun. That's Jotun.
I'm going to go with sure. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's Jotun, and the track is called Jotun. Jotun. We'll be back with more of In-Game Chat and Rand Miller coming up after this. And we're back with in-game chat. Yeah, that's the opening. That's their logo music for Cyan Studios. So we are back with in-game chat. It is Scott, RJ, and Matt, and our guest is on the phone at the moment. Now, I've heard it said a lot of times that you should never meet your heroes type of thing. Just that they'll shatter everything you thought about them or everything that you built them up to be. However, I have met our guest who was on the phone. That has never been the case in any instant that I've ever spoken to him or met him.
Tweeted at.
I know. Shared text messages with. It is always above and beyond. So, Rand Miller, thank you for coming on the show.
Hey, thanks, Scott. We just haven't interacted enough. I'll crush it at some point.
I don't think so. Not that I've ever put you on a pedestal or anything, but it's one of these things because I can remember playing MYST in my house on a 486 DX something. I don't know what it was.
Those were the days.
Yeah, it goes way back. And turning the lights off and getting immersed into the game and then trying to play Riven up until about Disc 5 when it wouldn't go any further. And then doing the same thing with Exile on the Xbox and then Revelations and Uru and all of them. Going through there, and it's exactly what I did with Abduction. I put myself back into the immersion, turned off the lights, turned up the audio, and enjoyed the immersion of being in that world. And so you've shaped how I played games growing up, and I never could have ever thought that, number one, I would ever meet you, talk to you, or still be able to play games that you guys are releasing, or doing the Kickstarter for the 25th anniversary.
Oh my gosh! Well, look at me. I mean, I've been making games all this time. Who knew I could do this for a living for so long and still enjoy it? It's crazy. I mean, it definitely has its ups and downs, and I wouldn't recommend it necessarily for anybody looking for a easygoing way to make a living. But it's I'm still hanging in there. It's cool.
We have one of the you may have heard while you were on hold here that what's it like having an action figure modeled after you?
Oh man!
Did you have to do anything for them to make
No.
that thing, or did they just go off of what they had?
No, and I mean, most action figures are not like looking in the mirror. I mean, there, unless you really are getting somebody who's spending some extra. So I look at it and go, I don't think so. Whatever. Mm-hmm. But, it's sitting in our trophy case, dude. The one you gave us is in our trophy case.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not in the vault. It's on display.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh,
I mean, I gave that. You said you didn't have it, and when I visited there, I didn't see it, and so I was like, you know what? Let me give that to him. It's part of my massive MYST collection that I have, but I had no problem handing that over to you, being that it is you.
No, that was awesome. Weird story, but at one point we had one, but it wasn't in the package, and I don't know where it came from. And it ended up in a fish tank while we were working on Uru for like a couple years. Needless to say, it was kind of nasty after that, and I don't know where it ended up, but it was kind of a joke at the office. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm keeping my Brad Dourif action figure that I've got.
That one.
Yep, keeping that one.
Oh, that's awesome.
Got a lot of questions here from. I went to the MYST subreddit and threw it out there that we'd be talking with you. So I got a lot of questions from them that really kind of mirror my own. These are going to come in random kind of orders here. But I do want to start with, what's the origin of the company name?
Yeah, so it would be great if there was something really huge about it, but it's not, just small things. Like, for example, I wanted a short name. I liked the color blue. It had a lot of cool connotations, and the whole thing about cyan being close to sky blue felt like we weren't limiting ourselves. The other thing was we stayed away from, we wanted to stay away from anything that might limit what we could do in the future, because we didn't know where we'd end up. Robin and I were, as far as we knew, we might get into be a font company or something. Mm-hmm. So we didn't want to do necessarily a Southwest Airlines where suddenly you're flying all around the country, but but your name is Southwest Airlines.
Right.
So we picked something that was just vague and kind of cool and available. And at some point we tried to change it. We were like, okay, we need to change this to something that's appropriate, and we couldn't. It just stuck. It was.
Did you come up with
the
any
best
ideas?
thing, so.
Did you come up with any kind of examples?
Oh man, I don't even remember at this point. I remember
Taupe.
we were over at yeah,
Mauve.
exactly. Other colors. They just didn't have a ring to them that cyan had. So yeah,
I'm guessing at that point you have name recognition, so it's hard to, the company formerly known as.
That's true.
Oh yeah, those are always rough.
Yeah. Let's see. I want to try and get some kind of order in these. Let's talk about Abduction, really. How well did Abduction do? It's been released now. It's been out there. You've done VR versions. And so how well did it do for you guys?
Oh, well, it kept us going, which is, as far as we're concerned, that's a good thing. We didn't break any records, and sales have slowed down a bit, and I think we had hoped for a little bit more, but it's hard as an indie studio, even getting word out and marketing and all that stuff, and this was kind of our own deal, so we did what we could, and we sold a decent number, but it's hard to do this, and it was hard to make Abduction. I have to say that as much as the Kickstarter provided us a kickstart, we had to throw a bunch more money in the mix and get some outside investment as well. And I don't think all that's even paid back yet, like the outside investment and stuff. So, but we look at it as it has legs. Our games always seem to have a little longer. Games these days, you get like 6 months and they're gone, but I think our stuff it's got a little longer appeal, kind of an interesting appeal. And the fact that it's VR might give it some longer legs as VR ramps up. So,
yeah. Let me go ahead and get the elephant out of the room. Is there anything that you can tell us about Firmament?
I'm not sure what we've said.
That's even better. So you could say anything.
Yeah, really. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Firmament, when Abduction was done, we've got a room full of people who were like really excelling at building things, and especially for VR. And it was a long learning curve for VR. Took us a while to figure that out, and there were a few hitches, and performance is always an issue. Anyway, we got over that, and we learned a lot, and we had the tools ready. So Eric Anderson and I, the art director on Abduction, we sat down and started designing kind of a new game, and got very excited about this kind of new idea we had. Great storyline. And we like the idea of calling it Firmament. And we don't know if that would stick or whatever. But anyway, long story short, we decided, and this isn't how we worked. Every time we make a game, it seems like we're doing things a little differently at Cyan. So with this one, we had Abduction was at least paying the bills for the time being.
Yeah.
We were hoping it would ramp up, but we decided to put the art department on building kind of the first experience of that, just so we could play with a few things that we were interested in. We wanted to see, play with the idea of using hands in an environment, not an interface, but actually using your hands, and what people would do intuitively and what they wouldn't do, and how the different controllers worked on the different VR setups and all those things. And so we needed a playground, and rather than just build a useless one, we decided to build the beginning part of the game. And that's kind of what we showed at GDC and what the trailer kind of reveals, but it's just a tiny portion. And long story short, we were hoping that we've tried to pitch it, and it's a VR game. It's VR oriented, it's VR designed, and there's not a lot of support right now for larger VR games. I think it's short-sighted. I think I understand that VR is somewhat plateaued, but when you look at larger games and how long they take to make, it feels like we should be working on these, because I just know there's going to be iterations of VR equipment, and everything's going to get tighter and cleaner and nicer, and we need some great games to go with it. We were hoping Firmament would be one of those. We still hold out hope, but it's on the back burner at this point, and unless it gets funded. So
okay.
That's probably more than you thought you were going to.
No. That's perfect, man. Because that was going to be my next question: is how involved in VR would it be? And you went on to answer that. Mm-hmm. Obviously it's so early that I don't even want to go into if it's tied into any previous games that you guys. have done.
No. It's definitely its own IP, and it stands on itself. The story. I mean, aside from the interface and all the things that are really cool and exciting, and listen. VR, doing a game for VR where it's just a VR interface is really exciting to me. You can picture. I mean, I know it's a little bit ahead of its time, but it feels like in some regards, a lot of our games where we came out with MYST on CD before a lot of people had CDs, and even our old Manhole game we did on hard drives before people had hard drives. So, so it's not unlike us to push things a bit and get excited about upcoming technology. This one may be a little bit in front, but we'll see. But the story, I've got to say, is really cool. I think people would just dig it. It would make an incredible movie as well as a game. So we'll see what happens.
When will you be able to tell? I mean, I know you just said a lot here, but when will we know? Is there any kind of timeline of when more of this is going to be known or released or talked about for the game?
No, we have. We're not even sure what our options are. The little demo startup experience that we built is about a half an hour of play, and it doesn't tell much. It gets to a nice little ending point for those of people who saw it at GDC, but it doesn't really get into the story. It's just a tease, and you get kind of a first indication of where it might go. But I don't know what we're going to do with it. It's a great teasing tool. It's a great selling tool. It's a great demonstration of what we want to build. And either we'll get funded and move on to it and see if somebody wants to fund that thing, or we'll decide what to do with just that little intro experience.
Speaking of funding, will you look to Kickstarter for that again, or?
I don't think so. We don't want to overuse Kickstarter. And it feels like if we vary what we're doing, it works a little better. Abduction worked great. It funded what we needed. There's a lot of very good pressure on us, and we feel like we came through on that. I think we provided a game that was well worth what people paid for, and a year late is practically on time in Kickstarter time.
Yeah, no kidding. And the fact that that was your first. That was the first time you dipped your toe into the crowdfunding pool, and did well with it. But you kind of, I guess, you learned, okay, this is how this works off of that one. So, it might be a
right. You learn the good and the bad. It's especially hard with Kickstarter because games are notoriously hard to get the bug and the timing of. I mean, it's just rough. Even big companies can't do it. It's really hard on small studios as well. And as much as we try to cut it back to make it fit, it just wants to grow on you, So, so we have to be really careful with Kickstarter because we get initial funding and then we've got to figure out where to get the rest. And we almost got caught with that on Abduction. Luckily, we managed to pull out of that one and get some additional funding, but we don't want to get stuck in that again.
Right,
so, the 25th anniversary seemed like a good, a perfect thing for Kickstarter. It's a little bit different. It's interesting. It was a cool way to celebrate. So, this seems like an obvious one, the 25th, but I don't know if we'll do another game this way. Not sure yet.
Yeah, and the Kickstarter currently has 32 days remaining. It needed a goal of $247,500, a very specific amount, but they explain why. And it's currently sitting at $1,108,328 with 32 days left.
That's crazy,
isn't it?
Didn't it get funded in 8 hours?
8 hours it was done.
That's. I mean, I I think, when I heard about it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is definitely going to get funded. But did you know that it would be that quick?
Oh my gosh, no. That blew our mind. I did know that we put these very limited edition sketches out there, and we decided to only do 25 of them for the 25th anniversary. And I told our producer, Ryan Warzeka, I said, those are going to go fast, dude. Those will be gone so fast. And they were. So I predicted that. But I had no idea the whole thing would fund in 8 hours. And we're trying to we really wanted this to happen. We set a low number, a fairly low number for our goal. And we were pretty sure we'd make that goal. But if we just made that goal, we would have been paying a lot of money out of our own pocket because we all want these things too. So, the linking book with the panel, with a moving panel in it, that's like, yeah, I gotta have one of those. I want that.
I saw the video that you did with Adam Conover for it, and just I thought that was just, when I saw the book, I was just like, oh my goodness, this is right in the nostalgia button.
It's
that I need
wheelhouse of something that everybody who's been a fan would want.
And I think it does go to show the fans who have been playing the MYST series throughout the years that still have such a love and just for that world and that those games. I mean, I was introduced to MYST in college by my roommate Gus, and he had the computer in our dorm room, and so I used to get onto his computer when he was off in class, and all right, let me try this game up, and MYST, let's see what that is, and seeing the graphics and the visuals, just blew my mind. Back when it was first came out, it was like nothing I'd never seen before.
Oh, cool.
Well,
it's great that as much as, listen, over 1 million. So I'll put it in perspective. We're almost
to where Abduction was.
That Abduction was, and we still have the full amount that Abduction had. 30 days. The Abduction was a 30-day Kickstarter. So so that's awesome. Now, money-wise, we're making some real product, and we're having to do stuff in China, and we're working in atoms, not bits, with this. So we'll have to learn exactly, but we're working with a smart company that knows how to do it, so we'll see how that happens. It's not like we're getting the majority of this money, though. I would
it's
love
going
it.
It's going to make it's going towards the making of what these people have put in the money to buy from you, the inkwell and the book.
Yeah.
Not your Ferrari.
Yeah. Right, exactly. We're not getting even half of what is getting raised between shipping and paying back the licensing fees and the tooling costs and all that stuff. I'm not complaining at all. It's just kind of want to set expectations. It's like I would love it if we had, another $1 million in the bank, and it kind of is easy to think, oh, cool, Cyan's got $1 million. It's like, no, we don't. We do have. It's nice to put a little in the bank once we basically have emptied them. Abduction is kind of dribbling off, and so that's really cool. It gives us some breathing room, and we're doing some tune-ups on Abduction even. But yeah, unless it goes to, let's push for 10 million, and then maybe we'll get the money in the bank and do something big.
Let's talk about the rights. Actually, where do you guys stand with the rights at this point? How much of the MYST universe is in the hands of Cyan?
So the games that it's still primarily the games we've done. So we have MYST and we have Riven.
Yeah, we're essentially talking about 3 and 4, right?
Right. 3 and 4 were the tricky ones because they were published by Ubisoft through a circuitous route. They kind of ended up with the rights to those, and we've been just kind of talking with them over the years. And you can imagine if you're a big publisher, this little franchise that kind of sits in the background and doesn't really make money and doesn't really do much for you now. There's not a lot of. You're not heavily induced to negotiate or do something. So, but luckily we've kind of kept pushing with them, and they've been nice, and we've kept the dialogue going, and we were really hoping to wrap it up for the 25th anniversary, and we managed to, so that was cool. it just gives us it lets us do the publishing of these things. So we also talked with.
So it's only letting you publish.
Giuliani.
You're not getting the rights back to it to do anything further. Just the right to publish those.
No. Yeah, it's just kind of the publishing rights.
Okay.
And at least though it's a step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like once we take this step, if we need to go more, we at least know who to talk to.
Yeah.
And we've made some inroads. So yeah, it's a good step.
Well, that's good. And I mean, I'm happy that you have that so that you can do what you guys are doing, and so that you can do the publishing rights for essentially an IP that is yours.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, there's at least 5 in the main series, and you've got the Uru stuff as well, and so 2 of those, yeah, you got 4 out of 6. So I think you should be the majority of all of that as well. Plus, not to mention. Everything else that goes with it, the books, and there's been some talk about some other things, which is one of the other questions. Whatever happened with the? Didn't Disney come to you guys for a section of the park, or a section they were going to do for Mist Island?
Yeah, this was really cool. It was some people we knew at Imagineering, that we'd kind of known over the years, who had an idea to do something with I don't know I forget now what the island was called. You know, one of the little islands down in Disney World, and they were closing that island because it wasn't a real go-to spot for Disney explorers. And I think these guys at Imagineering, who are Mist fans, said, "Man, this would be really cool if we could turn this into something Mist-related." It looked very Channel Wood-like, which is cool. It had
Nice.
walkways,
Uh-huh.
and I think the thought at that point was more like that there could be a game within the park, that the game would kind of start on this island, but there would be things maybe all over the park in various places that you were collecting, very Mist-like, and it might culminate on that island too. And those were just ideas that were thrown around. And it was, I mean, you can imagine Robin and I going down there and getting the back lot tour of Disney World. How cool is that? Yeah. We're like, opening doors and going behind the scenes. And
did you get to go in the underground?
Line and yeah. There's just tunnels for getting where you need to go.
I know, but there's the mysteriousness of them.
How far did the...
Yeah, no, it was... And it wasn't... the cool thing was it just seemed very normal and nice. It wasn't dirty behind the scenes. It was clean. Yeah. It was beautiful. It was like... And we're just, our mouths are just agape that we get to even do that. So
how far did it get? How far did they get to doing that idea, I guess?
I think the way Robin and I looked at it, we were thinking they were going to buy the IP, buy the Mist IP and do fun stuff with it. But we didn't know what that meant, and we didn't know how that would go. We didn't think it would be a game. It just honestly, and it looked like they had some real excitement at every level. And I think the way they did business back then was they had to have unanimous approval, and at some point one of the heads was not excited, so it just kind of dribbled away. But,
it's a shame.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's and I know that there was like a TV series or a movie being talked about.
Mist on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that also kind of fade away as well, or what happened with that?
Well, I mean, honestly, it feels we're. How do I put this? It comes in waves. Over the years, we feel like it's taken us 25 years of Mist to start to understand a little bit of the workings of how Hollywood gets things done.
Slowly.
And it's still very voodoo and, mysterious, but a little bit more. So it's come in waves. We've licensed stuff. We've gotten some scripts. Some of them were good. Some of them weren't good. We thought some of them would get developed into something. They didn't. It's never been something we've been in a huge hurry to do because we want to do it right. So, but this last time, we felt like maybe we should have a little more say and a little more control. And so we set it up that way. This is all fairly recent, and I'm pretty excited about where this might go story-wise.
So this is still something that is very much a possibility?
Yeah, it is very much a possibility.
Wow.
And again, the workings of Hollywood are mysterious,
yeah.
but things are, progressing again, and we'll see. And this time feels like it's a little more in our court, which feels great as far as where the story goes.
Fantastic.
And what we were looking for.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
I'm guessing, you don't want someone to sort of take a story in a direction that maybe you don't want, you didn't picture it going in that universe, or, it's a good feeling to have creative control over what's essentially your baby, in a way.
Yeah. And it's not even control. I mean, creative control is a hard thing to get, but for things in the MYST universe, we pay a lot of attention to detail. I mean, you can't make a MYST game and just kind of throw away the story elements or the puzzle elements and say, well, whatever, it won't matter. The fans aren't going to put up with that.
No, we won't. Sir.
Audiences are getting smarter and smarter even in the television and movie market. I mean, they, unless it's a comedy or it's a comic book, there's a lot of people who, in more realistic series, want all the I's to be dotted and T's to be crossed, and MYST is, obviously fits into that category. So you can come up with a storyline, but if you're not going to do the work, it's probably going to fall apart a bit. And this one, so we're excited about that part of things, because from a game making point of view, we love to have all those connections, and we would love to see that done, in what happens in MYST in a linear format.
Another question that I really wanted to get to, and I know we don't have too much time left, but something we did a couple of weeks ago was on the air live, we played a session of D&D, which I had never played D&D in my life. So that was my first time, and for some people in the room, it was not their first time. But somebody wanted to ask the question, and I didn't actually know this, but apparently MYST was play-tested through a D&D style setup, and they wanted to know how that worked. How did you play-test MYST through D&D? Do you still employ that method at times for play-testing? And do you or anybody at Cyan still play D&D?
There's a couple people who I think do D&D now, even recently at the office. But this has been a fairly and really useful tool, oftenly used and useful tool for us. But the story behind it is that I remember back in the day playing D&D. Man, it was 30 years ago or 35 years ago with my brothers, and my character at the time was Sir Hewlett of Packard. I'll just throw that out there as little known trivia. Anyway, a friend of ours DM'd, and it seemed like a really cool thing. And the first thing I did was design a DM campaign. A D&D campaign. I wanted to make a place, not play a place. So I did it, and I didn't really know the rules of D&D. I knew there were dice and all that stuff, but honestly, it's remarkably MYST-like. If you go back, I still have all the sketches stuff from that, and I DM'd then the group, my brothers and a couple of their friends, to go through that one. But it wasn't very, very D&D like. It was more MYST like. It was like, okay, now you're here. There's a courtyard. Okay, we look over the wall. Well, you see a dead body in there. There's a guy there who looks like he's got a bag next to him. I mean, I would describe everything they would see, and they would tell me what they wanted to do. So that, I think, had an influence on Robin and I, that kind of D&D experience when we went to design MYST. And we played it the same way when we took Chris Brankamp and Chuck Carter and I think Bonnie McDowell through that. We basically DM'd them through the game, And it was great. We learned so much because before we even put anything down or made any images, we got to see what they would do and what they were intrigued by and what they were confused by. And so we've done that with every game we've done since then. We did it with Abduction.
Nice. Very nice.
What kind of video games influenced you, like, through, making your, like, did you have any kind of, like, games that have, been an influence to you for, in how you present things, or like, oh, I like this mechanic, or, stuff like that?
Oh, yeah. But, a lot of them are old because I've been making them, more than I'm playing them, for a lot of years.
I've noticed that.
The early...
Yeah.
Yeah. The Zork games back in the day, they were text adventures. And I think we've talked about this. Those influenced me a lot. It
Obviously.
felt like I was in a place. It felt like they were worlds that I could do what I wanted to do in. It gave you this real teasing of free will, and I think that influenced. There's something about free will in a game where you feel like you're just not, in a world, in an open world where you can go where you want, turn around and look the other direction. There's something magical about that, and I think that's what we were going for a bit of that. And so Zork felt that way. There were other little text or little graphic adventures that were not quite so free will, and I think we started kind of mixing the two together when we came up with the idea for MYST.
One final question, and then we'll let you run. The design aspect in creating the series that you've gone through, doing MYST and all the others. Times whenever there was, when either the money or the technology forced your hand into doing something that you really didn't want to do, was there anything like that happened where you ended up actually falling in love with it? Kind of a fortunate mistake type of thing. I can't remember what it's called, but one of those things where you're forced to do something you don't want to do, but it ends up being a blessing in disguise type of thing.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's such a good question. I don't know if I can come up with anything on short notice on that one. I know there has to be. Because over the years... Yeah,
you've had to change direction plenty of times, yeah.
Right. I mean, that's one of the advantages of a small studio, an indie studio, is, we can change quickly, and we do. I mean, it's a lot of times it's incredibly frustrating because we'll go into the art department and say, we've got to change this. This isn't working, or this is working, or, oh my gosh, somebody just played this, and they did this. What a cool idea. We should do that. So it's so many of those little serendipitous occasions that come and get implemented in the game, and they're not my ideas. It's almost like we want it to feel more of an organic thing where we're watching people play and we're getting feedback and we're trying to get in people's heads and watch the psychology and of what they're doing and then and adjust accordingly. I think though there's plenty of times that the money doesn't allow us to do things we'd like to do as well. I mean, the other side of that coin, man, there's so many. Money is a harsh keeper at some point.
Yeah.
When the money runs out, the project's done. Whether it really is or not. Luckily, we've been able to kind of wield the money wisely, get things to a point where they feel pretty good and balanced by the time we wrap it up. So.
Well, speaking of wrapping it up, we're going to let you go. I appreciate all the time that you give us, Rand. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you, Scott. Yeah, and I mean, especially we got the MYST 25 thing going on, which I'll push again. If anybody wants it, check out the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And I have to say this. Let me say this. We're not tricking people with this Kickstarter. Honestly, we're not in the atom building things with atoms business. So we don't want to build an inventory. We didn't want to make a bunch of stuff that we have sitting around. So the Kickstarter was a way for us to see how many people were interested. We're just going to make this many. When the Kickstarter's over, we honestly are not going to have these things again.
Right. So, the games will be out there, but the trinkets and everything, that's it.
Exactly. Yeah, the games, in fact, you'll get upgraded even if you already own them. We're trying to be generous with those as we get them, and 3 and 4 will be added to the mix. But the cool little artifacts, get them while you can, if you can, because we probably won't do this until the 50th anniversary. Maybe we'll make some other artifacts.
One other thing is that if you could, talk with Victoria. Try and get a AMA set up over at Reddit, because I still have a ton of questions that I didn't even get to, and there's a lot of people who want to talk to you. That's
cool. We may do that. I use Reddit. Reddit is my go-to. I lurk an awful lot. I even saw some of the questions. I didn't have a chance to look through all of them, because there was a ton, but yeah. And I'm not a guy who likes to look at the questions, but it was intriguing seeing what people were wanting to know.
I know there's a lot. There's but I'm a Reddit many guy. More.
Yeah, Reddit is my guilty pleasure, I guess. I mean, that's where I get my news. I don't know how that twists my view of the world, unfortunately, but yeah. It's my go-to. We'll definitely try and fit something.
Okay, well, I appreciate it, Rand. Yeah. Thank you so much, and have a fantastic weekend, and we'll keep in touch.
Yeah, thank you. I can't wait to play the 25th anniversary games.
That's awesome.
Take care, man.
Okay, talk to you next time.
Thank you so much. That was Rand Miller from Cyan Studios, Cyan Worlds, whichever way. I didn't even get to that question. There were so many others. Favorite puzzle. Yeah. How involved were they in MYST 3? Because they didn't make really that. Somebody else did. Are there any more books in the works? Do you still go online?
Well, obviously he does with the Reddit.
Well, I mean online with Uru online. Do you still go to Uru online?
Favorite puzzle would have been a good one.
Would they? Well, yeah. Do they plan to port these to Linux? What are your hopes for the next 10 years for the company? Just so much stuff that we didn't even get to. So hopefully he can do an AMA over on Reddit and people can get those. Or you know what? We can probably try and have him back on. So I'm going to keep these questions here, and if we ever do have him back on, I'll try and get to those as well. So we're going to take a break. You're listening to music from Uru. It's called The Cleft. It's the opening section of the actual game. But we'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. This is music from Banner Saga 2. It's called The Twilight Flight. And we don't have much time left. We've only got about 10 minutes left in the show. I have no problem when interviews go long. That does not bother me whatsoever. I could have gone further with that one. If he had given us more time, I could have just kept going.
Yeah, it's rare that we have him here. So, yeah, going long, no problem at all.
I wanted to try and get everybody's question in, that sort of thing. So let's go to the phones. We've got Multile calling in. Hey, man.
Ahoy, hoy. No, seriously, you're completely right, Scott. If there was any time and an opportunity to go long on an interview, I say definitely go for it, especially when you've got someone like that is, like, really wants to actually just talk about everything that they want to be doing, you know.
He does, and he was the same way
when
I
Miller
met him.
just seems to be excited. He just seems to be really excited about the whole aspect of every single part of what he's trying to do.
And it's fascinating.
He is excited about what he's doing, and he's also surprised at how many people enjoy what it is he does.
Mm-hmm. It seems to creep up on him every time you've had him on. He's like, oh, really? Okay, yes, I have this fan base. Okay, hello.
Exactly, extremely humble man, and he's a wonderful guy. When I got to visit the studio, we walked around their little area there, the grounds of the studio that used to be a lot bigger than what they are, and then because of money and everything else, they had another completely separate building on the same lot that they sold off because they didn't use it anymore. And it's still there, but I think it's a school now or something like that. I can't remember what it turned into.
Wow.
But, a very small school, obviously. But they still have some of the grounds there, and we were walking around, and he was showing us all this stuff. And then he's like, you want to go get some lunch? And so we walked from their studio, and we came out of the clearing of the woods, which wasn't much. But we came out of the clearing. He's like, yeah, there's a little Thai place we go to, and we sat down and had Thai and talked about abduction at the time. You know, I was picking his brain on Abduction because this was the first game that they had made in God knows how long, and I was, you know, now if we were to do it, I'd pick his brain on all this other stuff. Not necessarily Firmament, you know, after finding out really how that feels more like a conceptual thing now rather than an announcement of a game. It feels more like a proof of concept from what he was saying. Like, he's got a story built, but anything we've seen so far just feels like it's a proof of concept type of thing. And I think he's told us all he can tell us on that so far, because they really haven't gone any further than what they've shown. But
you don't want to fall into the trap of overpromising something when you're still early on, or you're talking about ideas that you want to implement into the game, and those didn't get implemented.
Yeah.
As we saw with Peter Molyneux and No Man's Sky as well.
Well, see, they didn't have No Man's Sky to look at whenever that happened. They didn't have that sort of that warning of what. I tell you, the warning that they'd had was the. Oh God, was it Tim Schafer?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that the warning they had from when he did the Kickstarter and it actually didn't get enough money and they still needed more money afterwards? Or
that one got funded right away.
No. There was
they had bad. It seemed like from the outside. Again, I haven't watched any of the internal interviews or anything yet. I think quite a lot of it's up on Steam actually as video content that you can watch.
Mm-hmm.
But they had a weird development cycle where they had basically overextended themselves with what they wanted to do, and they had to break the game up into two parts to try and gain back some of the money.
That's right.
In some aspects.
That's right. It got funded,
Broken Age.
Yeah, it got funded, but the problem was that they underestimated the amount that they would need for what they were doing and had to split it up. And so then you had to end up having to, I think...
I'm sorry to cut you off, Scott. It's just that I don't technically agree with that off the back of it because they got so much extra money.
Mm-hmm.
They were asking for a specific amount. They should have budgeted for that specific amount because that's how Kickstarter works.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
If they hadn't budgeted for that much and they were getting so much more, astronomical amounts of money for what they were doing, and they still couldn't make it happen, something had went wrong in their development process or the publishing process or some sort of money management in regards to something else. Something went wrong, terribly wrong, and even if they just didn't set out with a proper Kickstarter, well, that is entirely their own fault, of course, as well. Like, I understand things run up against the wall and you need to spend more money on X, Y, and Z, but they they asked for a certain amount of money and they got well and truly maximum amount of more. I can't even remember it. I would need to find it to actually give you numbers.
And then look at oh God, now I'm all of a sudden forgetting the name of the Kickstarter.
Does it start?
You know the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, the
what's it called?
Star Citizen.
Star Citizen. Yes.
Yeah.
Where they've gotten gobs of money, but have really
so much. They
money. Still haven't released anything.
No.
It feels like vaporware at this point.
It was over 5 years ago.
Yeah. They've just done nothing with it. So anyway, I'm just
posted in chat, by the way.
Do what? Oh.
Broken Age 3.3 million, and they were only asking for 400,000, and they still needed to break up the development.
And they still needed more. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
That's see.
It's nearly 10 times the amount that they were asking for.
From what I understand, this exposed what it was like with publishers who worked with Tim Schafer.
Mm-hmm.
Was that he would come in with this idea, I want to do this, and they're like, that sounds great. What do you need? Oh, I just need this. Here you go. And then he comes back.
I need more.
I need some more, and it was just more.
Snowballing, like maybe development cycle or something?
Yeah, something. Not that he's a bad man. I'm not saying there's anything bad about the guy.
I completely agree with you. It just sounds like there's a bad link somewhere in regards to money management.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I see that amount received and amount asked for, and first thing on my mind is where the money go.
Well, like I remember with the Broken Sword series, when I backed 5, it was initially like, if we get this amount of money, then we'll have this much of the game. If we get a little bit more, we could do more with the game. If we get it more, we could do...
This is the reason that they have not implemented stretch goals for this MYST 25th anniversary, is because the money that when you pay the whatever the price is for the linking book or the inkwell or the linking book with motion, whatever, you're essentially paying for those products to be built and shipped to you with no overage of cost or anything, like no profit on the back end.
Yeah. Just
this is what it costs and this is what you'll get, which is why he says that none of this money is going into their pocket. It's going in to get you the product that you bought. So, Multal, we got to run, man. I appreciate you calling and everything. I hate to cut you off so soon.
But we only happen after, so Scott, come on.
Yeah, we only had like 10 minutes left, so I appreciate you calling, dude. I really do. So thank you so much.
No, have a nice week, everybody. See you later.
You too.
All right, take care now.
That will do it for us again. I want to thank Brock for calling in, Multal for calling in, and of course Rand for calling in as well, and being on the show. Next week we have Twisted Pixel on, and we will talk to them. But I want to thank everybody for joining us in the chat room and listening on the stream and on the radio. I want to thank everybody who grabs us each week from iTunes or however you get our show. We appreciate it. Go to ingamechat.net. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're watching us on Twitch. You can subscribe here and watch us on Twitch. If you're on Steam, join our Steam group. PS4, we've got a group there. Xbox One, there's a group there. We got a Discord. We're all over the place. So thank you so much, everybody who joined in. You folks from Reddit who joined in to watch this, thank you as well.
Yes.
And have a great week. We will see you next Saturday. I leave you with music from a game called Through the Woods.
Okay.
And if you're looking for the connection, they were all Norse mythology related.
Ah,
there you go.
God of War.
Exactly, which is why I thought it'd probably be easy. Have a great week. Bye.